3:30 p.m-ish on a Saturday afternoon. An absolutely deserted Pond Street. I wonder how long it will be before they decide to knock this place down, but they've spent an awful lot of money on it. But just here, we're looking at the Vista flats, students' flats. I think it may be co-living in it. Ground to a halt about 2 years ago because either the people putting the money in or the actual person doing the building work went bust. So for 2 years it stood empty or half complete, and now somebody's going to start work on it again. But I'd be really concerned about the amount of water that's actually got in, because there's a lot of insulation here that's not exactly covered over when you get on the side area. Looking on the side section, this section's been done for a while. I can imagine the water's been pouring in. You can actually see insulation just there. So how much water's poured in behind that wall in the last 2 years. But I really wanted to take this on as a new building project, not knowing what damage has happened over 2 years with it being unprotected. But I'd like to know what benefit this is to us folk of Sheffield. But let's carry on from Flat Street onto Commercial Street, where you can see Admiral and the closed down Couplands. In the 1970s, they knocked down the most beautiful Barclays Bank on this corner. They said at the time it was for road widening, I think. There's also a newsreel cinema to the right hand side of the creamy colour building that was burned down after that, I think. But how they got away with knocking down this beautiful Barclays building, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add that picture on of the beautiful Barclays building after this when I get home. What I'm going to show you is what's happening on Commercial Street. So this was actually what we knew as Yorkshire Bank, but it was a Sheffield Stock Exchange. But this is going to become more art space. Now they did put scaffolding up for a while. I don't really know what they've done to this building because it don't really look much better after scaffolding's been up for a few months on it. But it's a charity type organisation with an alliance with the university. So where does all this money come from for charities to spend on things like this? Some kind of art space. So you can see the closed down Couplands just here. I just want to show you these beautiful buildings on Commercial Street we lost in the 1970s. I'm not sure how they got away with doing it. This is right at the bottom end of Commercial Street. Now this building, yeah, it looks a bit blackened and that, but wouldn't this building have looked beautiful if it had been cleaned up? I am going to show you this commercial house in a moment, but I just want to show you this. This is right by the Parkway roundabout. What an icon, gone. But it even gets even worse. The other building on Fitzallen Square onto Commercial Street, the creamy colour building where Couplands was this beautiful building in the 1970s. So they knocked this down to widen the road. Absolutely scandalous, isn't it? That's a different angle on that building. But you can search on Barclays Bank, 1970s, Commercial Street, Sheffield, and get all these images and have a look for yourself. But I also want to show you this one. This is coming down Commercial Street. They knocked this beautiful building down as well. This looks like a big hotel down here as well. So Commercial Street was a much nicer place than what I ever remember. But that looks like a church right at the bottom of Commercial Street. I'm not even sure what that is. Does anybody know? But I thought you've got to really understand what they're doing or what they've done in the past to Sheffield. Talk about the German bombers. This was done well after the German bombers. This is Sheffield City Council. So let's get back onto what I was actually documenting. Canada House, once the Sheffield United Gas Line Company. I remember a nightclub in there in the 80s, but also a Chinese eat as much as you can buffet place as well for a long time. So it's now becoming this music charity. You can do your own research on it. Now, I had a lot to do with charities locally back in the early 2000s. But something seemed to change under Blair. Charities seemed to absolutely go ballistic. So what did he do? Because I don't personally trust any charities anymore. I think most of them are just businesses. On the other side of the road, we've got what is called, or was called, Commercial House. As far as I know, it was Barclays Bank's offices, etc. Well, this is going to become more flats again. You couldn't make it up, could you? I'll put as much information as I can in, but I thought I'd just show you what's happening in Sheffield on Commercial Street and Flat Street. And just down at the bottom, you've got the actual tram bridge. It just gets more and more crazy in Sheffield. I don't know how this benefits us folks of Sheffield at all.